President Biden has addressed the historic auto workers strike against three major automakers, commonly known as Detroit's Big Three.
It marks the first time the United Auto Workers Union has launched a strike against all three companies at once. Leaders at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis made multiple offers to the UAW prior to their contracts expiring at midnight. Auto workers say these companies are not doing enough for its employees. The president acknowledged the disparity between the profits earned and employees' wages.
Over the past decade, auto companies have seen record profits, including the last few years because of the extraordinary skill and sacrifices of the UAW workers. But those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers.
Nathan Bomey joins us now. He is a business reporter with Axios. Thanks again for coming back to us. Well, Nathan, the president just addressed the historic strike. Just how damaging could it be to the U.S. economy overall?
Well, I think it depends on how far the UAW goes. For now, they're only doing 3 plants. Now, that is significant. It's, 13, 14,000 workers and, half a dozen vehicles. If the strike ends up being expanded to include other plants, then that's when this could really become a snowball for the president and for the economy, because at this point, the UAW is taking a very targeted approach. If they expand it to include the entire Big Three, then really all bets are off, and that's where it could get ugly very fast.
Nathan, I know you've been covering this for quite some time, and I wonder, given that both sides currently appear to be far from reaching an agreement, do you see any areas there potentially where they could come together?
Well, they've already come to the table on wages a little bit. The automakers have raised their offer to 20% wage increases. The UAW is at 36%, so you can kind of see that gap closing. And then the automakers have already agreed to cost of living adjustments, which I think is a little surprising at the beginning of this process. I'm not sure you could have guaranteed that they would offer that, and they have. And so that is one place where they've made a concession. But again, I think benefits is where this is going to be a problem, because the automakers are simply not going to provide traditional pensions and retiree health care, which the UAW has demanded, because those are benefits that helped drive the automakers into bankruptcy in 2009, and they have bad memories of that. They don't want to go back to that era. So I'd be shocked if the automakers agree to that.
So pensions are off the table. What are the odds of a guaranteed bonus, end-of-year bonus? That just came off the top of my head.
No, I think that's a very realistic possibility. And in fact, the automakers are willing to offer that in all likelihood. That's not unusual. In fact, in the standard course of the contracts, usually the American auto workers will get a bonus based on the profits of their companies in North America. And so that's usually built into the contract, but a signing bonus would also be built into the contract. I think that is almost inevitable.
And Nathan, I'm wondering what else stood out to you from President Biden's remarks. Beforehand, we were talking about the fact that the president is in a bit of a tricky political position here. We heard the president sort of touch on that a little bit, but indirectly. So give us a sense of what stood out to you from his comments.
I thought he was really towing the line. I think it was not a full-throated endorsement of the UAW's position, and it certainly was not a big endorsement of the automakers' position here either. I think he really wants this to go away because this is just a headache for him. I thought there was one very notable line, which was he said that the automakers had made, quote, significant offers. I do not think that will be well received by the UAW, which does not agree that the offers are significant. So we'll see how the UAW responds to that. But overall, certainly, saying a lot of pro-union things. He wants the UAW's endorsement, so he's not going to criticize them outright. But he continues to say he wants both sides at the table. The UAW will argue the automakers are not at the table in good faith.
Yeah, tiptoeing across that line. And it's really interesting to watch. Thank you. CBS News senior transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave joins us now from Wayne, Michigan. What can you tell us, Kris? The UAW is made up of over 140,000 auto workers, but only about 13,000 are currently involved on the strikes on the picket line.
And that's one of the 3 plants that's experiencing a strike is the one behind us here, the Ford Michigan assembly plant. This is part of the auto worker strategy, the UAW strategy here, to strategically strike plants as opposed to striking every plant across the board. But economists say that that's still a risky strategy because the supply chain is so interconnected that shutting down 3 plants could, over the course of even a few days, result in other plants going offline because they lack parts or equipment or supplies to build vehicles. This plant, not all auto workers are striking, but they can't finish the vehicles that they would build here, so they're going to run out of room to put frames and things in relatively short order, and we'll have to make a decision if they keep that line, if they would want to keep that line going or not. They're targeting plants that make trucks and SUVs that are popular with consumers, that are profitable for the automakers. It is in some ways a warning shot, saying, this is what we can do at 3 plants. Think about what would happen if we took a larger action. At the same time that they're sending that message, UAW has said they won't negotiate today. And that's been a point of frustration for the automakers. Ford and GM have been pretty clear that they would like to make a deal. They would like to get this done. They have made at least 4 offers, offering as much as a 20% pay increase. Auto workers are seeking closer to 40. The noise you're hearing are horns honking for the picket line behind us here out in front of this Ford plant.
Right, that's the motorists passing by signaling their support for those union workers. And Kris, you spoke with the CEO and chair of General Motors, Mary Barra, earlier today. She defended the automakers' efforts to avert this strike. Let's watch some of that conversation.
We've been at the table since July 18th. We received over 1,000 demands, and I'm proud of both bargaining teams that they've been working through all of those demands. We have a historic offer on the table. We think we got it. We're at the table now, ready to keep going and get this resolved as quickly as possible.
Kris, how concerned is Barra about how this work stoppage will impact General Motors in the long run, and then more broadly as the auto industry as a whole? Because this seems to be a different kind of set of circumstances where you're talking about all 3 automakers at once.
Well, I think Barra and her counterparts at Ford and Stellantis are concerned in general. Ford's CEO has said that they are very much fighting for the future, the viability of their business, as Ford and GM are sort of at a tipping point as they are investing heavily in the transition to electric vehicles, while also investing in the development of gas-powered vehicles. They're also worried about what they spend in this labor contract because it impacts their labor costs compared to non-union competitors like Toyota and Tesla, who already have much lower operating costs. So there are a lot of concerns around this contract if you're an automaker that supersede even having 3 plants taken offline. Obviously, you want to be able to build vehicles. You want to maintain your supply chain. We've seen how easy it is post-pandemic for the supply chain to go haywire. So when you start taking plants offline, it can create some real problems. So certainly they're concerned. They also say that they're very focused on wanting to get a deal that is both good for their workers but viable for the long term. Ford's CEO told us yesterday that if they agreed to what the auto workers are asking for, it would put the company into bankruptcy.
Wow, tremendous economic stakes all around. Kris Van Cleave in Michigan. Kris, thank you.